Jesus started his priestly ministry after his ascension. And now he's our high priest, he's our intercessor, our advocate. In fact, he's the unique and only mediator there is between God and man. And he wants to bring his priestly ministry to a closure because he wants to have us back home at his place. How and when does he do that? Well, in the Old Testament, this final phase of Jesus' ministry is illustrated at the sanctuary through the Day of Atonement. Because that Day of Atonement typologically foreshadows what Christ is doing in his final phase in the heavenly ministry. Well, on the Day of Atonement, the sanctuary is cleansed, which meant that God has taken care of the sins and the responsibilities he has taken on himself. At the same time, the people are cleansed, which means that God will eradicate sin forever from his people. And the guilty one is punished. Now, the eschatological Day of Atonement, the one which is the same as Jesus' final phase of his priestly ministry, that is seen in the prophetic chapters of Daniel 7 and Daniel 8. In Daniel 7, we have the judgment. In that judgment, God makes sure that he can bring his reward to his people at the Christ's return. And in Daniel 8, we have the same time illustrated through Day of Atonement language, where the sanctuary is cleansed, where the people are cleansed, where everything is brought back to the place where it should be. Let me quickly remind ourselves what Daniel 7 is all about. We have there several world kingdoms, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece, and Rome. And then there comes this little horn power, is it called, from the Roman soil. And besides its political interest, it has definitely a religious interest. It goes against the saints. It goes against God himself. And in Daniel 8, we also see that it goes against the heavenly sanctuary and the ministry of Christ in the heavenly sanctuary. Now, there needs to be an answer by God toward what the horn is doing. And that answer in Daniel 7 is called the judgment. In this judgment scene, we have God as the Ancient of Days, a God full of wisdom, full of purity. And he opens the books of heaven, like the book of life or the book of remembrance or the book of works, which shows us that heaven has an intense interest in what's going on earth, especially what the believers on earth are doing, if they're loyal, if they trust God with their lives and what they say. And then there is the figure of the one like a Son of Man, which is Jesus Christ, who calls himself the Son of Man in the New Testament. The Son of Man is brought toward the Ancient of Days, and he receives kingdom and power from him. So we have here the crowning of the Son of Man. So, in fact, the judgment of Daniel 7 gives us several effects. One is that the Son of Man is crowned. Another one is that the saints will receive the kingdom which the Son of Man has received, well, on their behalf. A third effect would be that God will finally destroy the rebellion. And with all of that, as a result, God is justified forever. Now, this judgment is clearly happening before Christ's return, because it's happening before he receives the kingdom from the Father and continues it forward to his people. And it clearly also occurs after the destroying activities of the little horn, which last for 3.5 prophetic times, which is 1,260 years. So there is a judgment before Christ's return. This judgment is an investigating judgment, because there are books which can be opened, which can be looked at. Now, God obviously does not need books. He knows exactly who his saints are. But the angels who are standing by at this judgment, for them it's a different thing. The angels can, so to speak, look over God's shoulder and see if God's decisions in each and every case would be correct. And that's what they do. The heavenly pre-advent investigative judgment is for the sake of the heavenly beings, so that they know that the saints are safe to save. And by this, God's desire and man's desire is wonderfully fulfilled. God always wanted to eradicate sin forever and to bring us home. And we always wanted to be free from sin and wanted to have evil eradicated from our lives. So judgment is a good message. In fact, Daniel 7:22 summarizes it quite well. There it says, the Ancient of Days came and he pronounced judgment in favor of the holy ones. Because of this good news, we have assurance. In fact, judgment provides us with responsible assurance. We can know that God is doing everything perfectly. Even in judgment, He is perfect. He makes sure that our fate, our good fate, will be sealed forever. And that fate is to live with Jesus Christ. What better can there be?